This show is part of the RetroZap.com podcast network.
And welcome everybody to episode 40 of the Animanicast.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Now, what do you say we say hello to today's contestants, the Warner Brothers.
And the Warner sister.
Before we begin, what do you say we get to know you a little?
I'm Yakko. I'm Wacko. And I'm cute, you big luck.
Hey, it says here that you live in a tower.
That's right, Ned.
Well, tell us a little bit about it.
We live in a tower, Ned.
And welcome once again to the Animanicast. Nathan is dancing around the place, and we are the only podcast that is dedicated to the animated series Animaniacs. Here we explore the series episode by episode, revisiting all the cultural references and gags that we can find, and in the end, we give each and every episode a Water Tower rating. I am Joey, and joining me are my co-host, Nathan.
But you may call me Noodle Noggin.
And all the way from the Rock of Gibraltar is Kelly.
Hey, don't call me Big Ears.
Well, today we are talking about a very funny episode. It involves two major segments, Fair Game and Puppet Rulers, and various other little filler stuff, which is, good stuff too. Nathan,
Yes.
what would you say? In a few words, what would you think about this episode?
It's like an elevator ride. It goes up and mostly up.
and Kelly, what about you?
It's one of my all favorites.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, well, today's episode premiered on November 12th, 1993.
Mm-hmm.
And Nathan, what happened on this date?
We've been waiting for this day. It's a Friday, and it finally has come out.
Oh, wait, is it the Three Musketeers?
The Three Musketeers, as well as The Piano and Ernest Rides Again.
I have no idea if Ernest Rides Again.
Yeah, I'm sure that was not a good movie, but The Piano is apparently a really great movie, although I haven't seen it.
It's not as good as the Three Musketeers.
Yeah, I know. That one's the only one I've seen, and it's amazing. So, and we've been looking, the Animaniacs have been hinting to it all week.
That's right.
So, it's finally here.
Very weird for Warner Brothers to do a cross-promotion thing with Disney.
I know,
but glad they worked that out. Anyway, well, speaking of movies,
yes,
this episode starts off with a movie opening. Right. How's that for a transition? A completely different movie, but a movie. It starts off with a Casablanca opening, which is Humphrey Bogart, and he's talking to, Ingrid Bergman's character, whom I forget her name in the movie. But he's saying his whole line of, whole thing of hill of beans, all that stuff.
Yeah, don't mount a hill of beans.
I'm no good at being noble, but it doesn't take much to see that the problems of three little people don't amount to a hill of beans in this crazy world. Now, here's looking at you, kid.
Hello, nurse.
Huh?
And cute. Then they go to the theme song right there. It was cute. I thought it was a little. If the only thing that made me kind of go, hey, they missed an opportunity was Dot should only have her nose red and not her dress and everything like that. So, whatever. Just a nitpicky kind of thing right there. I personally have only seen Casablanca, I think, one time.
Yeah, I think I'm
ashamed to say that.
I think I've seen it 3/4 times.
3/4 times. Okay.
I have a lot of bad luck watching Casablanca. The first time I tried to watch it was before the Academy Awards one year, and I had a headache so bad that I threw up.
Oh.
So I watched it again on like Turner Classic Movies some years later. And so I was like, finally seen it. And then last year I saw it in the movie theater with some friends, and I drank too much wine. And so I had to get up before the end of the movie, and I threw up. So 2 out of 3 times I've tried watching Casablanca, I've gotten sick. So I'm like, maybe I should stay away from that movie.
Yeah.
or alcohol. I'm not really sure which.
No, I
blame Casablanca.
Yeah, blame Casablanca. Yeah. No. Yeah, that's too bad. I it has so many great scenes and so many, the only, Casablanca movie I've seen a few times is just a ripoff of it, and that's Overdrawn at the Memory Bank from Mystery Science Theater. I've seen that episode numerous times, and it's basically it basically references Casablanca throughout the entire thing. So I've kind of seen it, Casablanca, right?
I'm sure it's the same thing.
Anyway, Mystery Science Theater fans know what I'm talking about. But anyway. Okay, well, before we get into fair game, we have a Tower Escape segment. So, Tower Escape, this one is very similar to previous ones. First of all, fantastic animation. Wacko comes out, they draw a little door in the side of the water tower, press a button, and then the door opens up, and it's Dot as an elevator operator inside, all dressed up and everything like an elevator operator. They go inside, they lower down. Then the main door opens again for some reason. Not the elevator door, but the Warner Brothers logo opens up. Whatever, it doesn't matter. And then they jump out, and that's about it.
Yeah, it's weird that they go outside of the water tower to go back into the water tower just to go out of the water tower again. But it's good.
No rules. No rules. This is Animaniacs.
It's funny. It's a joke.
So there we go. It was a cute thing right there. And as we go forward, we're going to see lots of different elevator segments, though. We'll hold our commentary for the third elevator segment.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and get right into our first cartoon, which is Fair Game. Fair Game was written by Peter Hastings, and it was directed by Bob Klein. Kelly, can you tell us what basically happens here in Fair Game?
Yes, I can. Fair Game is another episode that includes a game show. It seems to be kind of popular in Animaniacs. And the host is Ned Flat, I think his name is. And it's the Warner Brothers and Dot competing against each other. And they annoy him so much. And they don't do the buzzers correctly, and they keep hitting the buzzer and saying Isaac Newton when there's not a question, and he rips up the buzzers and picks them up, and they're trying to hit the buzzers, and the veins in his eyes are bulging out because he's so annoyed that they keep hitting everything and answering questions, and he's finally like, let's just skip to the end of the game show. This is ridiculous. Let's go. So they use a rebus puzzle, and I guess I kind of passed a little bit. But so in I guess the second round, he's like, who came up or who discovered the laws of gravity? Yes. And they'd been saying Isaac Newton this whole time, just buzzing in, and they couldn't tell him that Isaac Newton discovered the laws of gravity. And they kept saying like Tori Spelling, David Hasselhoff, all these random people, and he got so irritated at that. And then they do the rebus puzzle, and it's Eyes plus tack minus T, which is Isaac, and then a newt, and then it's a ton, it's Isaac Newt. Wait, Isaac Newt heavy? That's always been one of my favorite lines, and or little segments, and Wacko just can't figure out that it's Isaac Newton, and so the host yells it out, and then he wins the prize, which is a 6-month trip for one to the Rock of Gibraltar.
Yes,
which is so funny. Just saying.
Yeah,
I know, it's a lot of fun.
And of course, they had other fantastic prizes too, right? Like a year's supply of transmission fluid,
or his and her drink holder, right?
Yeah, drink caddies or something like that. So Ned Flat goes off and he goes off to the Rock of Gibraltar, even though he doesn't want to go to the Rock of Gibraltar.
But you have to go.
You have
You
to.
won.
He's forced out, and the Warner siblings all get like a model, a female or male model, to hang out with.
Yeah. Hello, nurse.
By the way, that guy model that they had to help, he just looked like a Chippendales dancer or something like that. He had no shirt on.
Chippendales dancers. Chippendales.
No, he didn't even have a shirt on. He just had a little. I mean, that was total. Like Chris Farley. It almost kind of looked like a buff Chris Farley, actually, if he was doing Chippendales on Saturday Night Live. But he actually looked pretty good. So there you go.
But yeah, that is definitely a Chippendales outfit. So
yeah, so
even has the collar like wrist.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing right there. Well, a lot of funny gags to go through with this, and I'm just going to mention a few of the quick cultural references and some of the little bits of trivia. And if you guys want to interrupt me at any time, just make sure to buzz your buzzers.
No.
So first of all, Ned Flat is voiced by Harry Shearer, and this is our third member of Spinal Tap who has been on here. We have had Christopher Guest and Michael McKean. They were both in King Yakko. Christopher Guest played Umlaut. Michael McKean played the little character Spink, I believe. And Michael McKean will be on later episodes as well. So it was kind of cool to get the trio of Spinal Tap all on the show eventually right here. In case you haven't seen Spinal Tap, audience, go see Spinal Tap. It's a great movie.
Yeah. But you may know him from The Simpsons too.
Yes,
so
Harry Shearer. Yeah, the voice on the wiki here it says that it's very similar to Ned Flanders.
Yeah, I didn't hear that. I could hear maybe like Burns or something. Like
I heard Ted Brockman.
Yeah, when he yells, he comes off as some of the. I couldn't place which Simpsons character.
Honestly,
it is, but
honestly, it just sounds like Harry Shearer.
Yeah,
like it just sounds like Harry Shearer's normal voice to me.
I could see that. So it just like
it doesn't really sound like a Simpsons character. It just sounds like Harry Shearer to me. But whatever. So they have a few. Kelly, you were mentioning some of the random celebrities that they were mentioning. David Hasselhoff and Tori Spelling. Yakko likes to say Tori Spelling a lot to the answers. Tori Spelling was in Beverly Hills 90210 at this point. David Hasselhoff was on Baywatch at this point. Some of the other answers that they were giving out, they said Shelley Winters. Yakko starts to say red buttons at one point.
Oh, I was wondering about it. I thought it was just going to say, like the button that he's hitting.
No, red button. I think he's trying to say red buttons.
Okay.
Both Shelley Winters and Red Buttons were both in the Poseidon Adventure. I think they might have even been on Pete's Dragon together as well. I don't know. But maybe that's just my memory playing tricks with me.
And Wacko says Don Knotts at one point.
Yes. Of course, that's not a big surprise because almost every answer is Don Knotts.
But he thought that Don Knotts discovered gravity.
And that's pretty much it. Other than, of course, the Rock of Gibraltar. I mean... I looked at it and said, oh, the Rock of Gibraltar, so that must be like a really rainy, stormy place.
Yeah, based on the picture.
Based on that picture, it shows a guy on a lonesome rock just sitting there with two pieces of luggage. But the Rock of Gibraltar, it's actually in the Mediterranean area, and it's very nice weather. I was looking at the weather report today for Rock of Gibraltar for this week, and it's in the lower 70s, upper 60s, and of course Fahrenheit.
Okay.
And
sunny?
It's very sunny. Not a cloud in the forecast.
I bet it's going to rain in the next 6 months, though.
Probably. And sometime in that 6 months, maybe it will rain. It's actually... the Rock of Gibraltar is part of the story of one of Hercules' 12 labors, actually. Yeah. And there is a nice place to stay at the Rock of Gibraltar.
Nice.
It's called the Rock Hotel. The Rock.
Oh, I was thinking...
Welcome to the Rock.
I was thinking Dwayne Johnson must go there all the time.
No, I would love to be the bellman just in there so I could just try to do my Sean Connery impression. Welcome to the Rock. And they go, excuse me? Anyway. Come on, that movie?
I've seen it.
Nicolas Cage? No?
I know what you're talking about.
Okay. So, and there is a Spielberg connection to the Rock of Gibraltar. Are you ready for this? According to the Wikipedia page, the Rock at the Rock of Gibraltar is Jurassic.
He did that on purpose.
Yeah. Total intentional right there. So, but really when it comes to references, I mean, that's pretty much all it is to other cultural references. The main person they keep mentioning over and over again is Isaac Newton until it's really important to mention Isaac Newton. Yeah. So, overall, it's just nonstop stuff going on.
Very silly.
It reminded me a lot of a kind of like a Who's on First gag that just kept going on and on back and forth between Ned and the Warners right there. What did you guys think? What are some of your favorite moments and stuff? Kelly, what's you mentioned a couple. What are some other things that you really liked about this first cartoon?
I've always liked it when they're preemptively going and answering questions that haven't been asked yet and just randomly saying things, and then they'll all say to each other, "Good answer, good answer."
Yeah, yes. I love that. It reminded me of Family Feud.
Yeah, good answer.
Oh yeah. So a lot of times, like, if I'm playing trivia or something like that, I'll throw out a good answer, and most people don't know what I'm referring to, but I know I'm referencing Animaniacs.
Wait for the question.
Isaac Newton?
Didn't you hear me?
Yes, I did. Good answer. Okay.
Are you going to wait for the question?
No. Good answer.
Look, don't buzz in until you can say the answer.
The answer? Good answer.
They even say it to Ned when he gives out the answer.
When he says the answer is Isaac Newton.
They're like, oh, good answer.
Isaac
Newton! Isaac Newton!
Isaac Newton? Good answer!
Nathan, what about you?
Oh, it's very funny just every time he's at... Lots of little quick funny things of, wait till you're ready to say the answer, and then, buzz in to say the answer. But, I mean, I can't think of one other than, everyone saying good answer to each other. I think was my favorite part of the episode. But
my favorite time when they buzzed in was probably when Wacko did it. And he says, "Oh, sorry, my hand slipped." And he's like, okay. And then he immediately buzzes
and says Isaac Newton. Then his hand slips again later on, which I think Wacko was my favorite in this episode of the three Warners.
Yeah. One other line I really liked was you stop acting like this.
Why are you acting like this?
We're not acting. We really are like this. Aren't we lucky?
So, just really cute stuff.
Yeah,
back and forth. Funny. Back and forth. It's like watching a tennis match with jokes, set up, punchline, and it goes throughout the entire cartoon. It's really, really funny.
Very well. The answer is what?
It is? What was the question?
I don't know.
Then don't buzz in.
I didn't buzz in!
Then you can't answer the question.
Do you think this is funny?
Yes!
Yeah, it's hard to point out, like here's the best part.
Yeah, there's lots of really funny jokes, and it's worth watching.
There. How do you like that?
We like it very much.
So let's go ahead and move on to our next little transition. We started off the episode with the Warners going down an elevator.
Yeah.
And now we're going to have them being chased around into an elevator inside of a building.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So this is like the game Elevator Action or something. I don't know.
Is that a game?
Sure. Nathan. It's an old arcade game. Anyway, they walk into a building. They go. Ralph is chasing after them, and they just barely make it into the elevator. Ralph is waiting for he's pushing. He's waiting for the to catch the next elevator up. He sees the Warners get down off the elevator next to him, and instead of chasing after them, goes into the elevator so that he can go to the top of the elevator to get
chase after the
Warners, and then realizes that he has to go back down. It's very quick and fast, and the reasoning of Ralph is kind of silly, but again, pretty cute right there.
He has to chase him. They went up and down, so he had to go up and then down.
It's only fair, right?
Yeah.
He has to make this fair. He can't cheat. And then we have a commercial, basically, for an item called the Slapper, which is, of course, a parody of the Clapper, which I don't even know if they sell the Clapper anymore these days. Seems like you can always tell, like...
Yeah, now you can just use your Amazon
thing.
Yeah.
What's her...
or Siri, something like...
Cousin of Siri or whatever she is. Sure, Amazon doesn't like us to call her that. Cortana, isn't that what it's called?
No, that's what the computers. That's what Windows has.
I don't know.
Cortana.
And now the CIA can just hack into all of our stuff and just
that's true.
They can just turn off our lights for us.
But now you just tell you say, house, turn off lights, and that's what you do instead of clapping your hands.
Oh, there you go. Well, anyway, so in this case, this is the early 90s, so we have to clap our hands to turn off on and off our lights. And so in this case, Slappy has an annoyance next to her, which is the Walter Wolf is sitting next to her, and he won't change the channel from Bob Saget, who, of course, in the early 90s was on America's Funniest Home Videos, and Full House, and I'm sure apparently some other stuff. And a giant hand comes and slaps him.
It's the Slapper.
Slap on, slap on, slap on, slap on. The Slapper. Works for me.
All you have to do is clap your hands and it'll slap the person.
Have either one of you ever met anyone who actually had a clapper at all?
No.
No.
It was one of those things I remember it would always start. There's little things that would help tell you, like, it's time for Christmas, and it would be the Clapper and Chia Pets.
Mm-hmm. You see those commercials all
and they
the
think
time.
Chia.
Yeah, they were usually back to back. It must have been the same company.
The Clapper is perfect for hard-to-reach places and makes a great gift.
Simple. Clap on, clap off, clap on, clap off. The Clapper.
Give it a big hand.
You would know it's Christmas time because what am I going to get my wife?
Yeah, my grandma.
Oh, let's just stop at Walgreens and get her a Chia Pet and a Clapper. This is from the heart, honey. But there you go. That's the Slapper.
It can be a heart-shaped Chia Pet or something. I don't know. They have they had heads where Elvis grows hair or something.
It's a good thing my wife doesn't listen to the podcast.
Surprise.
She'll love it. Well, let's go on to our next major segment here, and this is called Puppet Rulers.
This is Maurice LaMarche, the voice of the brain, and you are listening to the Animanicast.
And Puppet Rulers is another Pinky and the Brain cartoon. It's a story by Peter Hastings. It was written by Tom Minton. It was directed by Barry Caldwell and Dave Marshall. And Nathan, what happens in Puppet Rulers?
All right, the year is 1954. We are in Einstein's laboratory with Pinky and the Brain. Whoa!
Yeah.
And they want to take over the world. They're going to freeze themselves for 40 years, and Brain doesn't quite know what to do after that. But then he sees on TV puppets are really popular with kids. So he decides he's going to become popular on the puppet show, and then freeze himself for 30 years now, and wake up in the 90s.
No, 40 years. It would be 40.
Well,
sure, Nathan, they woke up in the 90s.
Yeah, but they did it for 10 years, I think.
That doesn't make any sense.
Right?
Oh, that's right. No, they were on the Beanie and Cecil. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm jumping the gun. They were on the Meanie and... What's it called? Meanie and Treacle show.
Yeah.
For 10 years.
For 10 years. And then they froze themselves for 30 years.
Okay.
So they...
Get the math right. This is almost like time travel.
They could have gone for 40, but then
they wouldn't really have an impact.
Well, I guess. I don't know. Anyway. So anyways, they freeze themselves until they come to the 90s. And of course, the kids all miss them so much that they're going to be really popular. But... it turns out the kids had lots of therapy bills because their lives have been ruined by Pinky and the Brain. And they end up chasing him away, and that's
with pitchforks and torches.
They want him to pay for the therapy bills. So
and their pills, probably.
And the pills that they have to take for their therapy.
I love Minnie and Treacle. I wish Minnie and Treacle was president.
Pinky, are you pondering what I'm pondering?
I think so, Brain. But we'll never get a monkey to use dental floss.
No, Pinky. We shall become characters on that insipid puppet show. I will endear myself in the hearts of the children. Then we shall freeze ourselves for 40 years. And when we thaw out, those children will be the leaders of the world, and they will adore me, making it simple to take over the world.
Yeah. I don't know. I found this one kind of very unrealistic. I mean, just the fact that someone could, become popular on some insipid television show and then later become a world leader, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
Did I miss something?
No. I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, the kids say at one point they wish that Meanie and Treacle could become president, and that starts the wheels turning in Brain's head. It was a pretty good plan, and I like the idea of cryogenics.
And he really put a lot of commitment in it, like 10 years of being on the show. It just I was like, oh, he'll be on there for like a month or something.
Nope.
And I'm like, that calendar went and went.
He was in it for the long haul. Yeah. He realized you know what? He really wants to conquer the world. He's going to put in the time to do this. And of course, Pinky was named
Big Ears.
And
Brain was Noodle Noggin.
But of course, he wanted to be called what?
The Great Orchestra. What was it? The Iconoclast.
Iconoclast.
Yeah, which is so.
Hey, Dad, Brain, brilliant! Oh, just one little technical question, Brain. On the show, can I call myself Big Ears?
You may call yourself Mary Pickford for all I care, Pinky. I shall be known as the Iconoclast, an unconventional eccentric who marches to a different drummer.
Oh, I thought maybe you could be Noodle Noggin.
Which I really love that whole thing, because it's just like he's just so dry, and he thinks that's going. He comes out with a cape. And he thinks that's just going to really get the kids love.
Yeah,
the kids will love this. And the kids do not respond at all to it. They just look at him with, blank stares and everything like that.
I am the Iconoclast, an unconventional eccentric who marches to a different drummer. But you may call me Noodle Noggin.
Okay, an iconoclast is a person who destroys religious images or opposes their veneration, or a person who attacks settled beliefs or institutions. So that kind of goes to what the Brain is doing every time Pinky, a.k.a. Big Ears tries to do something. He just says, well, actually.
Ooh, hey, Noodle Noggin! Is it dancing fun, silly willy?
Actually, the random gyration of appendages is fun, silly willy.
Let's just talk about there's two major, references to other stuff. First of all, they talk about, can I call myself Big Ears? And he says, well, you can call yourself Mary Pickford for all I want, all I care. Mary Pickford was, because she died many years ago, was a silent film actress. And one of the things that she is famous for saying was, adding sound to movies would be like adding lipstick to Venus de Milo. She was not a fan of adding sound to film.
Oh, I thought she was like really weird and wanted lipstick on Venus. No. And I was like, okay.
She's like, watch
weirdo.
This. I know. Something tells me she would not be a fan. She would be a fan of practical effects and not CGI. But yeah, that's just me.
Probably. Yeah.
So Mary Pickford, there you go. But the main thing is, Meanie and Treacle are a parody of Beanie and Cecil, who were, they started off as an actual puppet show in the 1950s and then transitioned over to an actual cartoon show.
It's time for Beanie! Well, Beanie fans, Beanie and Cecil and all the gang are off on another adventure. An adventure that takes them clear around the world. First, they boarded the Lena and sailed to Timbuktu. Then on through the 8th Sea into the Indian Ocean. Past nothing at all. And finally, they reached their destination, the 5th corner of the earth. Yes, the 5th corner of the earth, a remote, dense jungle that time has forgotten. To the 5th corner of the earth in search of the giant white gorilla. But here comes the gang now, so let's all join them, shall we? Here, Whitey! Here, Whitey! Whitey! See, so? That's no way to look for the giant white gorilla. It ain't? It isn't. That's what I said. Well, I've got no time for a grammar lesson. And if we hope to catch that white beast, we got to be on our toes every second. Now, you go on and scout ahead, huh? On my toes? Yes. Aye, aye, sir, Uncle Captain, sir. Here, Whitey. Here, Whitey.
Come fight the robots with Beanie and the crew. They come from outer space, and gosh, what awful things they do. They came from Venus, right on past the moon. And now here's Beanie and Cecil in a Bob Clampett cartoon.
One of my favorite comedians of the past, Stan Freberg, voiced Cecil, the sea serpent.
Okay.
Nathan, I know that I made you listen to Stan Freberg stuff growing up. He did, you remember the Day-O song? The Day-O! The other thing I used to put it in the CD player and make everyone listen to it. Like the Stan Freberg's United States of America or something like that. I don't know. Stan Freberg was an enormously funny guy. And just passed away the last couple years, actually.
Oh, wow.
He was kind of like, he wrote lots of songs. He did tons of voices for Warner Brothers cartoons and other stuff. So as a kid, I actually watched the Beanie and Cecil cartoon show quite a bit because my father was a huge fan of Beanie and Cecil back when it was, he was very young in the 1950s when it was on as a puppet, but we watched the cartoon show because they had a few of the tapes at the corner Blockbuster. So we would rent these Beanie and Cecil tapes, VHS tapes, and take them home and watch them. And I was especially interested in this because my grandparents were actually really cool, and they kept a lot of my dad and my aunt's toys from when they were little. So one of they had actually a puppet in their old room, which was a Cecil the sea serpent puppet, and it had a little pull string on it and everything.
Oh, I do remember this.
Okay, good.
The pull string is
yeah, you pull the string on it and go, "I'm Cecil the sea serpent," and we loved it. I mean,
I think the pull string eventually broke, but
it's kind of sad that we were the ones that broke it because it was
probably
like
be worth a lot of money too,
and really would probably be worth a lot of money right now. At least a few couple $100, right?
Maybe.
I don't know.
$10
$10 at least $10. In the cartoon / puppet show, Beanie was a little boy. Cecil was the serpent, the sea serpent, who would follow them around and go on these different adventures, and they would go searching for gold or for missing stuff. And I watched a little clip of it, at least the original puppet show, which I had never seen before. But I saw a little bit of the puppet show this morning, and I was pretty impressed with the quality of the writing and things like that. It's obvious to see that the writers of Animaniacs were influenced by this cartoon when they grew up, I'm assuming. And of course, Einstein in this stops whatever he's doing and goes to watch the cartoon, or goes to watch the puppets in this, which is apparently very true.
Apparently actually would stop.
And it's mentioned in the DVD special features for Animaniacs. They talk about Einstein stopping what he's doing and to go watch Animaniacs, which was impossible. But
he had a time. He knew time curves. So
the other person that I found out today also liked Cecil and Beanie and Cecil was Harpo Marx. So we're going back to the Marx Brothers again.
Brothers, wow.
It says right here from a biography on Harpo Marx, written by, I believe, one of his sons, that it says right here, he said that his Harpo's all-time favorite television star was Cecil, the C6 sea serpent, a hand puppet on Time for Beanie. If any one of us dared break into the den while Dad was watching Beanie and Cecil, we got grounded. So there you go. So it's a very popular show with Harpo and Einstein, two people with wild hair. There you go. But Beanie and Cecil, it's a lot of the episodes and everything. They're on YouTube, so you can check them out. And it's funny stuff. It's good writing. It's along the lines of kind of Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Oh, funny
kind of stuff. It's good stuff. A lot of it holds up pretty well. And the villain on it looks very similar. In fact, almost identical to the villain on Meet the Robinsons. You ever see that Disney movie, Meet the Robinsons? No? Okay. Well, the villain in that it's called Bowler Hat Guy or whatever, and he has a little bowler hat. Anyway, very similar. Anyway, well, that's my lengthy kind of thing to talk about Beanie and Cecil. But what are some of your favorite moments of this, guys? What are some of the things that you liked about this? Kelly, go ahead.
I liked it when Brain asks Pinky, "Are you pondering what I'm pondering?" And Pinky says, "But we'll never get a monkey to use dental floss."
And Nathan,
it was neat seeing like Mindy and Buttons. I don't know if you mentioned that one.
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah, they made a quick cameo.
Yeah, it was fun to see.
Because they're trying to sell all this merchandise and everything.
And I guess I was supposed to be Bill Clinton as a boy.
Yeah, in Hope, Arkansas, right there.
Yeah, watching JFK.
Yeah.
I'd like to buy these, please. Thank you. Here.
And I know other Americans join with me in saying, Ich bin ein Nudelnoggin.
And of course, Bill Clinton, was heavily inspired by JFK as a young kid. He even shook John F. Kennedy's hand. I think when he was visited his high school or something. Yeah, well, we were talking about John F. Kennedy says "Ich bin ein Nudelnoggin," I believe.
Yeah,
in this one, and we were mentioning before recording that John F. Kennedy, of course, said in a speech in West Germany, "Ich bin ein Berliner," which people
were like, "I'm a donut."
Yeah, people say, "Ha, he said I'm a donut," and that's not necessarily the case.
Not really at all. There's no one that would.
Yeah,
no German would think that. So,
yeah. So don't believe everything that you read on the internet, especially these days. And that's one of them. Is that he didn't say I'm a donut. It's just kind of
it's like an urban legend.
Yeah, urban legend right there.
At last, my public has come to shower me with gifts. Guess again, Noodle Noggin.
You abandoned us!
You went away! You ruined our lives!
You don't want to give me your devotion and total rule?
No! We want to give you our therapy bills! Pay them!
Run, Pinky!
It reminded me a lot, especially at the end, of just how fandom is, especially Star Wars fans in particular. And I say this as a huge Star Wars fan. But the hatred...
Yeah, there's like a huge love, but then it also comes with a huge hatred towards it. So I'm sure there are like huge fans of Pinky and the Brain still out there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they could probably still have a huge cult following, but there are these other people that like hate them. Like,
how could you be canceled?
Yeah.
But they were just like, how could you leave us, you know?
But there are other people, though, I'm sure, that are just happy to have him back.
Yes.
Like, it can't be the whole consensus of everyone in the world.
That's true.
I would think.
It's not like they had a Noodle Noggin and Big Ears special edition of their...
Well, who's to say? There could have been any number of things that happened in the 30 years they were cryogenically frozen. They could have done special, now we'll CGI, put them in. And
instead of Meanie hitting Noodle Noggin, it was Noodle Noggin hitting Meanie. It's like, who hit first or what? No, I don't know. But the whole thing of like George Lucas, and I'm going to replace words of George Lucas ruined my childhood and all this kind of junk is very... I just thought the same thing, like when...
You thought he ruined your childhood too?
No, not at all. No, I'm thinking the same thing, like... yeah, George Lucas made my childhood in many ways. He didn't ruin anything. But he, that whole thing of going, getting upset at the things that you love so much... And they still wear the hats and everything. At the
They're
end.
still loving it.
Or maybe they just put them on. That's what they did because they were.
No, they were watching TV when they.
Oh, that's right.
When they first appeared, and they just happened to be watching TV with this stuff on.
They've been waiting that long.
30 years. Finally, now we'll get them. It's but they one of the kids says that Pinky is a genius in this episode.
Oh,
they said Big Ears is a genius.
Hey, kids! Can you do this?
Wow! Big Ears is a genius!
So, I thought that was interesting.
I think that's just ironic, Nathan.
I don't know.
I don't think that's telling you that...
I don't know. He said it. The kid said it. It's official. Has anyone said that Brain is a genius in any of these episodes?
They basically say it in the theme song every time.
One is a genius.
Yeah, then they show Brain writing down stuff.
The other is insane.
And then they show Pinky acting insane.
But
in a
it's
straight
Pinky
jacket.
and the Brain. So if you go in the order that they say it, then it's...
Okay. Anyway.
They don't say this one's a genius and this one's insane. If they said that in the song, then I'd be like, yep, that's it. Marvin the Martian's in it.
Yeah, hey. Marvin the Martian's in it. That's right. He's on the wall.
Yep.
And we were looking at one of the old guides that it was showing that, hey, this must be a reference to the Nike ads. And Nathan had no recollection of
I don't really remember these at
any
all.
of that. But I know before Space Jam came out, Michael Jordan would do these kind of commercials with Bugs Bunny and Marvin the Martian. And it was like Marvin was trying to steal the Air Jordans and stuff like that. So,
oh goody, more Air Jordans for me.
Pebble Beach.
This is no way for a Pamper superstar to travel.
What the shoes?
And they're all mine.
Give me those Air Jordans.
No, yes, no. Take these or else.
Yeah, Marvin the Martian makes a kind of background appearance right there. And they mention Milton Berle. You have to go out on top.
But Brain, why are we freezing ourselves at the height of our popularity?
To stay fresh in their memory, Pinky, we must, to paraphrase Milton Berle, leave them wanting more.
Milton Berle, of course, comedian from the past right there. And he would, still be known at this. He was still alive in the early 90s, I believe. So, at least I knew who he was as a kid. So there you go. Not too obscure, at least back then in the 90s.
They do another Bob Saget kind of thing with
another America's Funniest, what is it?
Furniture?
America's Funniest Furniture.
Oh, and wait till you get a load of this lawn.
Greetings, everyone.
Playing in the TV
Which
studio.
is a very quick joke, and then just...
They talk about some lawn chair outside.
Yeah,
Look at this lawn chair.
And then it just cuts out. But...
Yeah, anyway. A lot of cute...
A lot of little jokes. And
yeah, they keep going. Oh, and Kelly, I don't know if you caught the little thing, but did you notice the slam on puppeteers right there? This puppeteer is like looking...
Oh, yeah.
I was very offended on behalf of all puppeteers out there.
I think the writers are like, puppeteers don't do anything or something.
They said if he's at the beginning he says, okay, you puppeteer, who doesn't look like Bob Clampett or Stan Freberg at all, but he says you need to come up with new characters. kind of like in Poochie or something in The Simpsons. You know, you have to come up with these new characters to sell more merchandise.
But we need more merchandise. New characters, that's what we need. I want new puppet characters on the next show.
If I could come up with new stuff, I wouldn't be a puppeteer.
I was like, hey, I'll have you know that Jim Henson came up with plenty of original ideas all the time. So.
Oh, yeah. He was amazing.
Yeah. And now I'm jealous because you've actually gone to like museums and seen like a lot of, the original Muppets and stuff up close.
Yeah. And I've met Brian Henson at Dragon Con. No big deal.
Yeah. No big deal. Name drop.
And several of the Fraggle performers and Steve Whitmire, who's the voice of Kermit the Frog. You can read all about my interviews on BigShinyRobot.com. Shameless plug, but
did you meet Carol Spinney also, the voice of
Yes.
See, it's just too cool.
So while I'm putting that out there, so if anyone knows how I can ever meet Frank Oz,
oh yes,
please let me know, because that's like the only Muppet tier that I still I mean, I'd love to meet probably a lot of other ones, but that's Yoda, y'all. that's Yoda.
Yeah, it doesn't get much bigger.
And a million others, Cookie Monster and Grover and all that. But I want to meet Yoda. Just saying. So if anyone can hook me up, yay.
Yeah, or if Frank Oz is listening right now, or
oh yeah, I'm sure Mr. Oz is a huge fan of our podcast. But it was very cute. We have to go out on top. It reminded me George Costanza or something. Wasn't there an episode of like, there was an episode of Seinfeld
where he'd always leave if everyone laughed in the meeting. He would just walk out.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Yep. So the brain did that. Unfortunately, it didn't work out too well. And this, as far as I know, this is at least one of the few episodes where he doesn't talk about trying to take over the world at the end. He's just talking about trying to find a place to hide.
Where Pinky actually remembers, oh, you mean we're going to take over the world?
Yeah. Nope. Got to run away.
All the kids look like Colin, the Randy Beeman kid. At least I think. Just like.
Yeah, they picked a model for a kid and they just said, let's go for it.
There we go. Everyone looks like that.
That is a kid. Well, let's go ahead and close this episode out and get to the Water Tower rating. But before we do, there's two short little filler segments to wrap things up. First of all, we have a Wheel of Morality.
It's that time again.
To make a cheese sandwich?
To make the folks' senses cry?
No, it's time to learn the day's lesson.
And today's moral is straight from Chicago. Vote early and vote often.
That's right.
Pat, I'd like to buy a vowel.
Wrong wheel.
Oh.
Well, that was a good Wheel of Morality. Not one of the best ones, but it was cute.
Yeah.
And then we have to have one last chase opening, or chase ending, I should say, because this is the end of the show. And they basically run back to the water tower. They press a button, and the water tower goes back down. Hey, elevator. And they jump in, and it goes back up to the top again. Of course, Ralph tries it, and an anvil falls on his head. Once again. And they shrug, and they go back in. So there you go. That's our episode.
Yeah.
Lots of funny stuff, lots and lots of gags. Let's go ahead and get straight over to our Water Tower rating. So what do you guys think? Out of 5 water towers, how many water towers does this episode get? Kelly, let's start with you.
I'm gonna give it 5. It's two of my favorite segments. I love the Pinky and the Brain. It's always funny and cute. And then I never get tired of Isaac Newton.
Mm-hmm. Nathan, what about you?
I'm gonna go with 5 as well. Mm-hmm. It was a very strong episode. There was no really down parts to it. Maybe the slapper, but even that was, good. It was lots of content. which I love, and very funny stuff. So
okay, well, I was gonna give it 4.5 because it didn't have a song thing, but I'm gonna go ahead and lean, and I'm gonna say perfect agreement. 5 water towers for me as well. So that's a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
5 water tower. That's our third triple agreement.
Yeah, of 5s.
Of 5s, yes, for the series. So there you go. An awesome episode. Definitely on one of the highly recommended lists for people wanting to check out the show.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's go ahead and get over to our poll results from last week.
Hello there, this is your announcer speaking to you live from a helicopter leaving Isla Nublar. It was a scary situation and lots of dinosaurs were everywhere, but luckily I escaped and now I'm on to someplace not with dinosaurs. Well, anyway, here's your Twitter poll results from last week. Listeners were asked, what do you think the Warners are? Hashtag Animaniacs, hashtag Animanicast poll. 3% said they are cats. 9% said they are dogs. 12% said infested with fleas. But of course, 76% knew that they are simply cute. Well, that's the poll results from this week. Now let's go back to the studio with a brand new Twitter poll question.
Well, let's go ahead and get to our poll question for this week, which, correct me if I'm wrong, Nathan, has absolutely nothing to do with today's episode at all.
That's an opinion.
Okay.
And I would hope that you would leave those out.
I'm sorry.
Of
this is an opinion-free podcast.
Yeah. We don't have opinions on this podcast.
Okay, sorry.
We'll let the listeners decide if this poll has anything to do with the episode. And it might not. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
What is your favorite extra
extra dimensional
paranormal
yeah, paranormal person,
villain or antagonist that the Animaniacs annoy.
Yeah, that'll fit in 140 characters. Sounds
Thank
good,
you.
Nathan.
Good. It's your job to write it out. I just say it out.
Okay. So who are our choices?
Well, obviously today we had either Death, or we had Dracula, or we had Satan. One of those three is your favorite.
Yes.
And was maybe in the episode.
maybe in the background someplace.
It could have been. I'm not gonna, again, you decide.
Yeah, okay. Hey, you never know. Death is always around the corner.
Hey.
Ooh.
Too true.
Okay, so there's your question. Go ahead and make your voice heard. Head on over to twitter.com/Animanicast, or simply search for hashtag Animanicast poll, and you can make your voice heard. Tell us which of those paranormal characters you thought was the best foil, the best special friend, the best whatever. Which of those do you like the most?
Enjoy getting annoyed.
Yes. So, without any further ado, I think it is time to get over to our contact information. So, Nathan, where can people come to you online and say hi?
Joey, you can find me on Twitter. Anyone can find me on Twitter, really. Actually, I'm on Django FT. That's me.
All right. It rhymes.
Okay, good.
And Kelly, what about you?
You can find me on Twitter as well at Yoda Princess, YODAPRNCSS, or Kelly at BigShinyRobot.com.
All right. And as for the Animanicast, you can hit us up on Twitter. You can seek us out on Facebook. We're even on things like Instagram and a little bit on Google Plus every now and then when I'm feeling like it. And you can also send us an email, which is animanicast@retrozap.com. And speaking of retrozap.com, you should head on over there for tons of awesome articles and a bunch of other podcasts that you can listen to, such as the ArgCast, Beltway, Banthas, Brews and Blasters. We have classic Marvel Star Wars comics. That's a new podcast. The Deucecast movie show, Dunecast, Kanata's Castle, The Sandcrawler, Skywalking Through Neverland, Starship, Sabers and Scoundrels, Talking Apes TV, Techno Retro Dads, the Trade Federation, and We Know Nothing. You can subscribe to all of those individually, or you can simply go to the Retro Zap feed on iTunes and get every one of those delivered straight to your device. Ooh. Hey, speaking of iTunes, head on over to iTunes. You can give us a review, and as long as it's 5 stars and positive, you can bet that we're going to read it on the show. What if the person puts like a really mean review? It would be funny if they put like 5 stars and then I hate this podcast.
Yeah, if you
and
do
we'd
that,
have to read it.
We'd have to read it.
Oh, man.
But it'd be pretty fun.
So you can head on over to iTunes to do that. And how do you do that? You just
Google it.
Yeah, you Google
it first.
Google that stuff.
Figure it out.
Yeah, you'll figure it out. You're a smart listener. Come on. Well, with that, let's go ahead and close up shop. And what do you say? Love lollipops and... No, we're not going to say that. We're going to say... For the Animanicast, this is Joey, and for Nathan and Kelly, good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
This podcast is not endorsed by Warner Brothers or Amblin Entertainment and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Animaniacs, the Warner Brothers logo, all names, pictures, and sounds of the Animaniacs characters or any other Animaniacs-related items are registered trademarks and or copyrights of Warner Brothers, Amblin Entertainment, or their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of the Animanicast unless otherwise indicated.
Until tomorrow! Love, luck, and lollipops!
Love, luck, and lollipops!